Hello, Jordan here from Core Coasting. Welcome to another episode of the Canopy Setup Guide. This one is all about the home on wheels. So it's about fitting every single room of the home on wheels so you can take everything with you on your trip and feel like you've left nothing at home and are really maximizing your pleasure during this leisure time. Cool. With that being said, let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the bedroom. Rooftop tent is the sleep sanctuary. As the name suggests, it is bolted to the roof and it stores all of our sleeping gear. So our doonas, pillows, blankets, sheets, it all lives up there, it all stays up there, and it is out of the way of the back seat in particular, because I feel like that's where it all ends up going if it doesn't have a spot like it does inside the tent itself. Setup is about 30 seconds, while pack down I would say is a little bit longer. I'd probably say it's about 45 seconds to a minute. I am a big fan of the hard shell because I feel like soft shells don't allow me to store as much as I can on the tent itself. So I do have roof racks, so I can put my solar panels, I can put my kayaks, and the fact that I have that ability to store things on the roof means I don't have to take my tent off as frequently, all while staying within my roof rating capacity, because I think it's very easy to creep up on your roof rating and suddenly be unroadworthy. So it is handy, and I think purely for that reason, just for roof storage, it is a no-brainer for me that, yeah, the rooftop tent is a hard shell style rooftop tent. Now, my absolute favorite thing about the rooftop tent is how high it is. So the height is great for potentially negative wildlife encounters, especially of the reptilian kind, but it is not that great when you've had a few beers and you need to climb up the ladder, or in my case, I don't really like to use the ladder, I just use the tailgate. It's one less thing I have to set up and pack down, so I'm just trying to stay as efficient as possible. Yeah, I try and avoid using the ladder, which means if you've had a few beers and you're trying to get up on the tailgate, it can get a bit, well, it certainly feels a bit high from up there when you're looking down and you're going, geez, that's a fair way to fall if I was to lose my footing. So yeah, I think the height is a double-edged sword. So it's nice and high, but sometimes it can feel too high. So keep that in mind, but you know, it is what it is. Don't drink as many beers and you'll be sweet. Apart from being nice and high, I guess the other side of that is you get great views. So you can see out into awesome, I guess, vantage points that ground dwellers won't get to see too often. So it's nice if you've got, you know, a little bit of greenery in front of you, or a bit of a hedge or a screen where you get that little bit higher and suddenly you've got ocean views. And yeah, it means you can get that little bit of height that might be the difference between seeing the ocean and not, which I love. And yeah, it's cool just being up that high and having, I mean, who doesn't want ocean views? You can't beat it. Next up, we have the kitchen, and it's probably the most important room, and I think that's just because it's my favorite and I love food. So yeah, it's something I wanted to make sure that this was as like home as possible. So it starts with the fridge freezer. I've got it behind me here. It's 85 litres, it's a dual zone, so it's a separate fridge and a separate freezer. It can be two fridges, it can be two freezers, but there's two separate zones to it. It's got heaps of room and it's almost too big sometimes. I opted to go this big because of fish. So I just wanted somewhere to store fish without needing to carry extra eskies because they take up more space. So I thought if I just go the biggest fridge I can get, then I'll be able to store my fish in there and I won't have to worry about hauling around an esky. And I definitely overcompensated on that one. And I think you can definitely get away with using a smaller fridge and it'll be just fine, because half the time this thing's got a bunch of air inside of it rather than loaded up with fish. So yeah, definitely get your fridge sizing down pat. I've got a bunch of other videos that can help you decide on your fridge sizing, and yeah, check those out and can help make that decision a little bit easier. Pantry items are in the drawer. So just behind me, I've got the drawer there. It's got all of my pantry and cooking items. So it's basically a pantry drawer rather than a drawer for anything else, which means all of my cooking and utensils, and I've even got like herbs, spices, seasonings, that kind of thing in there as well. It's all at easy access, so I can just grab it, pull it out, and it's all in there, which is great when you're sort of cooking up a storm, or I'd like to think I'm cooking up a storm, and it's all within hands reach to grab, oh shit, I need salt or pepper or herbs and that kind of thing. So it's nice to know that they're right there and within easy reach. Next, we have the Weber. So that is basically my oven, my cooktop, my barbecue. It does everything and it's all in one. It is a little bit big, but it does make up for its space in what it can cook. So yeah, as I said, it's my oven. I can bake fish, I can bake crays. I can treat it like an oven as well as a barbecue where I'm cooking steaks or cooking a pasta sauce or frying off fish fillets, or oysters can go in there and they're sitting in the grill and I'm cooking oysters. So it's a really versatile piece of cooking equipment, which I absolutely love. It does take up a little bit more space than I'd like between the gas bottle and the unit itself, but there's, I guess, ways we can mitigate that, smaller gas bottles and just getting a little bit more creative with how we pack it in there. But I think it is a worthwhile addition just because it means I'm eating like a royalty on the road, which is nice because you don't sort of get stuck eating 2-minute noodles. The one thing the Weber isn't that great at is boiling water. I know they've got a few attachments to make it easier, but the trusty butane stove sorts me out in that department, and it's great for just a quick boil of the water to get your pastas on, or reheating a pasta sauce, or it generally is boiling water, and I think if I have that in conjunction with the Weber, I'll have one stove cooking or boiling water, and then the other stove or the other grill plates in the Weber doing their thing, and dinner's done in no time. So having them two together is a pretty good, I want to say lethal combination. So yeah, having them is great for getting dinner sorted fast. Next up, we have the bathroom. I am a little bit precious when it comes to living on the road, and daily showers are a non-negotiable. So 86 litres of water keeps the home on wheels hydrated, and that's just up the back there in front of the rear axle for good weight distribution. So I didn't want to miss out on showers. I didn't want to feel dirty, and I thought I need to get as much water as I can without compromising too much space. So I found 86 litres to be the good medium. And yeah, it allows me to have those hot showers on the road, which is an absolute game changer in my opinion. If it's a little chilly, I definitely break out the hot water system. It's a Julka. It plugs into a gas bottle, the same gas bottle as my Weber, and then it plugs into the cold water outlet, which is just behind me here. And yeah, then it just spits out hot water, which is very handy down here in Victoria over the cooler months, which isn't just winter. It basically starts in April and goes all the way to October, November. So it's a real handy thing, and yeah, it's a little bit precious, but I absolutely love it. And I think if it means I'm enjoying myself more on the road and I'm going to be able to stay out there longer, then why wouldn't I invest in something like that to mean that I can enjoy it and live on the road as long as possible. So yeah, that's the hygiene situation, which was very, very important to me. Lucky last, every bathroom needs a toilet, and I just use a shovel to sort me out in that department. If I am in proximity to a porcelain variety, then I'll probably take that option because I probably leave it a little bit too last minute. But I think there is something quite liberating of answering the call of nature in nature. So either option is there, but that's my toilet situation. If you're keen on seeing how much water you might need for a road trip, check out the link below in the description. It's called the Canopy Setup Quiz. It's free, it takes 30 seconds, it's only 3 questions, and it just asks a few important things to get a bit of an understanding of how you're traveling, and then it spits out a recommendation on how much water you might need, plus a bunch of other useful info, and a way you could plan it out if you've got a ute set up too. But not to worry if you don't have a ute set up, because you can well and truly use this info for any kind of car. It's more just giving you a litre amount so you know how much water you can take for your setup and your trip. Next up, we require a place to neatly store our clothes, which is our wardrobe. So my wardrobe is the back seat, but we've got it divided into these neat little containers. They are these plastic storage drawers, and they sit on this thin little plywood base, super light, super modular. It allows me to you know, change it up depending on how long we're going for, which is super handy because I don't need to carry this monstrosity of a wardrobe if we're doing, you know, 2 or 3 nights somewhere. But if we're doing, you know, a month or 2 months on the road, I know that it is going to keep the storage nice and neat. It's going to keep the back seat nice and neat. Our wardrobe's going to be neat. And once, I think I've mentioned this in other videos, once that back seat becomes a mess, I know the end of the trip is near. So keeping that and keeping on top of that early, especially with this plastic wardrobe solution, it is a freaking game changer because it just means I'm able to keep it all nice and neat, and washing days are much more straightforward because it's just fold, pack it up straight into the plastic drawers and off we go again. Now, because it is modular, it grows and shrinks with how long you spend out there. And with that, they just sit on top of each other. So to stop them from moving around, I put some Velcro dots underneath. That just holds them there. Once they've got a few clothes in there, the weight of the clothes generally keeps them from moving, which is super handy because then I know that they're not gonna just like, I'm gonna take a turn somewhere or hit some bumpy roads and then they go flying over in the back seat. So the Velcro dots are just like that added layer of protection to prevent them from, sending it. That pretty much wraps us up for the Home on Wheels. If you're keen on the full video, check out my OnlyPlans. It's in the link below in the description. It's basically all about Home on Wheels ideas and basically a rig rundown so you can steal any of the ideas that work for your setup. You're probably doing a bunch already yourself, but it's a bit of a handy resource to get you out on the road sooner and saves you from making all the mistakes that I had to learn the hard way. So check it out. Other than that, let me know if you've got any questions. Always happy to answer them. And if not, take the ideas at work and hopefully I'll catch you out there.